So EA has finally responded to the drama that's unfolded in the last 24, 36 hours regarding the sneaky implementation of monetization into Dynasty mode and Road to Glory. Now, I think it's fair to say that in the year 2026, you can pay $70 for a game and there's still extra monetization available in those games. I think that's standard. Now, what is also standard in 2026 is that extra monetization in a $70 game does not exist in offline modes. There's online stuff. And so to not tell anybody that this was the route you were going for the two main reasons people buy your game. Ultimate Team is not big for college football. It's Road to Glory, it's Dynasty. Everybody knows that. So to sneak in monetization into offline modes when every other video game that has offline modes has zero forced or needed, I shouldn't say forced because you don't have to, but really needed purchases to get the experience you want is really unthinkable and unheard of. It's unprecedented. And you know, we were wondering with the likes of Bordeaux and Bangle, Eric Rayweather, not the expert, the real heavy hitters of the content creator world for college football, after they all really dove in and made their feelings on this very well known. How long does it take for EA to respond? And today we have an answer. And what's interesting is EA technically didn't respond. They sent out information to all their members in the creator network, knowing that they would share it with all of us. I think this is I think this tells you a lot, right? I don't think people look at this, but in depth maybe. But what they should do is realize that this should tell you that internally, the folks that are working at EA Tiburon, that this is not them. This is not the devs, the guys over in Orlando that are working the game. Guys, this is way higher than them. They don't want this. I can promise you that. And I think that everyone needs to make sure that they are aware of that, right? We've all worked for a company, maybe a policy's changed or they've done something we don't like. And at our level, our managers, or, you know, if you're a manager or whatever, you might not like it, but it comes down from above you and you just kind of follow protocol. I think that's how a lot of these devs that are, you know, that worked so hard on this game are feeling right now. This wasn't their decision. They were forced to do this. And so what I want to do here is, you know, we're going to kind of cover the information. I know a lot of people have, but I have a different point of view on this. And I also have I think a workaround for the Dynasty aspect. I don't really have one for Road to Glory. And so we're going to cover some things real quick. And I have Mills, who posted this over on his X page, right? I'm not going to read this really. You guys can read it, or I'm sure you've already seen it, but this was what they kind of gave out. There is good news here that we are going to get some important updates to Dynasty recruiting. However, I think that what I want to focus on here is the key facts. Dynasty is intentionally designed to be more challenging long-term experience. So here's the thing. I made a video on this not too long ago regarding Madden, but Dynasty in college football is no different. EA did a shift years ago in the franchise mode of Madden, and it made its way into College Football 25 when it came back, where they are treating it more like an RPG. You have XP, you have loadouts, you know, you have upgrades, you have all these things that are literally mirroring role-playing games. It's a little bit more prevalent in Madden, but you can definitely make the correlation in college football. And so and I also, just to piggyback off that, I have a relationship with a former Madden dev who told me that Josh Lumen, who was previously with EA and now has returned, this was his idea because he wanted the push to have Madden's franchise mode be more RPG, to try to keep people playing the game mode, try to get them hooked the way RPGs do. We know how some great RPGs have really just blown up, man. Elden Ring, Chronos Odyssey. There's been a ton of different, Fable's going to do crazy numbers when that drops. I mean, there's a ton of RPGs that people just play the heck out of and dive into. Skyrim is one to think of. And EA wanted to try to, replicate that. And so if you're implementing RPG elements and you're, basically treating it, you're like an athletic director, it's a long-term experience, blah, 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 but it's an RPG. There is not an RPG out there that you're paying fully $70 for that you are forced to play the game a certain way. They all come with difficulty levels. They all start out at normal, which is how the devs present it to you. And then you can, they always give you multiple different choices, and they'll say for a relaxed experience just to go through the story, for one that you want one really, really challenging and hard, you can crank it up. Either way, you get to go through that story the way you want to because you spent $70 on the game. That's where there's an issue. I think if EA was going to implement this into Dynasty mode, okay, but you can't charge full price. This is an RPG. You can't control the way players play their sandbox RPG mode. NBA 2K does not monetize My NBA. MLB The Show does not monetize their franchise mode. No sports game monetizes their franchise mode. This is the first time it's ever been attempted. And it's because, if we're being honest, it's because they're not making that extra revenue. This game sells great, but they're making less money than Madden. Even though this sells more copies, because Madden gets the Ultimate Team revenue, which is pretty much pure profit. The margins on that is insane. It's cards. It's ridiculous. So EA Sports needs to come up with a way to get more revenue out of College Football 27, because you can have great sales numbers, but that revenue is probably not being met because nobody's playing cut. And I think there's definitely ways that EA could monetize and make a lot more money in College Football 27. Number one, the absolute easiest way to do this is if you're going to do monetization, you bring in some sort of online mode for your Road to Glory player. You have the yard, or whatever it's called now in Madden, where you had your superstar player and you could go in and play 3v3 with your superstar player in Madden. It's super fun. Then you're correlating it to like 2K's My Career, where you can play the story mode and you don't have to spend any money. But if you want to play competitively online in 3v3, 5v5, 7v7, whatever, you might be at a huge disadvantage if you haven't ranked your guy up. And you can also monetize some gear, some skins, some emotes. Like literally that's what 2K does. It's all a choice. You don't have to do it, but that's there. Also, look at what ESG Football's doing. They have full 7 versus 7 and 11 versus 11. You could do that with Road to Glory players and people would play. They would pay to boost their guys. They would pay to get ability upgrades. They would pay to get certain gear. Like they would 100% do that. They do that in 2K. Nobody bats an eye. You have to pay out your ass for a build in NBA 2K. And then if you want to get tattoos, jewelry, certain gear, emotes, you have to pay for it. And you can earn it by playing, or you can just buy it. This is the route you got to go, EA. When everyone was, throwing up the AI pics of they thought we're going to have an open world campus, had you guys done that where people can go in and play and squad up with their friends and play, and then your ratings and stuff matter, that you monetize that. You don't monetize a player that you get a max of 5 seasons, most likely less because you're not playing the first year or two. And once you're graduated, you're done. You can never play that. So you're spending money and you can't even play with that guy all year. That is just beyond ridiculous to me. And when we talk about Dynasty, I already made that correlation. There is no other RPG game that costs $70 that monetizes that. If you want to come in and you want to monetize Dynasty by controlling how fast we can gain XP by removing those settings, okay, but you're not charging $70 anymore. Now you're charging $40. You can't charge full retail price for an RPG mode and then ask people to pay more or force them to put in an amount of hours that is literally not possible. If they play your other game, Madden, which you really push the MVP plus, right? That's how people got betas. That's how they got a week early access. So there's no way in God's green earth people are going to be able to put in the amount of hours to play Dynasty to get your head coach leveled up, to experience those, and play the other game they just bought from you, Madden, which releases only 4 weeks later. Not to mention, a lot of people play both college football and Madden, and maybe NBA 2K. And if they're not playing that, they're playing NHL. Both those games come out a week after Madden. Or excuse me, a month after Madden. And you know what? On the off chance that a person only plays college football, they don't play Madden, they don't play 2K, they don't play NHL, they don't play Call of Duty. They're probably playing the new Wolverine game that comes out in August. And if they're not playing that, you can bet your ass they're playing GTA 6 when it comes out in November. You picked the worst time to try to pull this shit. With all these games coming out in a short span and everyone's trying to play them, and now you go in and you say, hey, you're going to need to spend 25 to 30 seasons, literally in this post, you say that. That's not happening. That's unrealistic and you know it. It was by design. The other thing is, what about the people who like to restart? What about the people who started their dynasty and went 2 or 3 years in right away with the broken shit that we know is now in Dynasty with the recruiting and the NIL? And there's a fix coming next week, but at this point, they almost need to start over. What happens with that? They don't get those points refunded to them. They have to start all over. Not to mention, it's pretty obvious you really scaled down how Road to Glory players progress to push people buying those upgrades, right? You talk about Road to Glory here, where we're going to pull it up here, right here. They talk about coach progression. Let's go to Road to Glory. We've seen a few questions. Let's get over to it. 99 overall can be achieved if you start off as a 5-star. You're not going to get it if you start anywhere less than that. They toned down the XP in Road to Glory. Unfortunately, whatever changes they did to the players in Road to Glory, they did the same to how players progress in Dynasty mode, because in College Football 25 and 26, in both years, I ran tests and the player overalls inflated. Like when you counted up how many 90s were in the base roster from EA and the amount of 80s in the base roster, and you simulated 4 years at default 100, you doubled the amount of talent that was in the base roster. We had to nerf XP. The changes they made to Road to Glory just trickled in to Dynasty and how players go there, and now you can simulate 4 years on 300 XP for every single position. Maxed out 4 years, and you're getting a 70% drop in the amount of 90 overalls in the game after 4 years. That's what they did to the Road to Glory progression, but they didn't separate it from how players progress in Dynasty mode. So now you go 4 years in and you have 1 to 2 running backs 90 overall, 3 or 4 quarterbacks 90 overall, pretty much 0 offensive linemen. 0, I mean, it's all 80s. It's ridiculous. So I don't know. I'm as frustrated as you guys are. Which it's, the gameplay is, in my opinion, the greatest gameplay we've had of all time. Any football game ever. You can't compare Backbreaker, All Pro Football, NFL 2K5, former Maddens, former College Footballs. They don't touch this with a 10-foot pole. They don't. I'm sorry. If you think that they do, you're wrong. You're wrong. So given how good the gameplay is, this is really disappointing. However, I do think that there's a workaround for Dynasty mode. There's nothing we can do about Road to Glory. You just got to make a 5-star blue chip, whatever it's called. But there is something we can do for Dynasty mode. I want to take a moment to show you guys the alternative. It's not the best solution, but it is an alternative that's going to allow you to get all the coach abilities, to try them out, to see what you like, play around with things, and you can still do rebuilds. I'm going to take you over and show you what I'm talking about here right now. Okay, so the alternative, I know it's probably not what people want to hear, but it is something that can definitely be utilized, and you're going to enjoy your Dynasty experience, and you can definitely make use of the abilities a little bit easier than you can in its current state, with EA doubling down on where they're standing. And basically the way you can do that is if you go into your Dynasty mode, and I'm just going to show you guys right here, you can literally pick any team. Like, again, I'm going to use North Dakota State. They're brand new. I think this is a great example. We'll look at North Dakota State and Sacramento State, and we'll look at Missouri State and Delaware too, as they're the 4 most recent teams to FBS. But if we go to North Dakota State, right, brand new, first year in FBS, and we click that we're going to be a head coach, right? Everyone just goes to create new. We create ourselves. But if we just didn't, right, given what's going on right now, we can take the existing coach and we start off as a level 27. 27 level skips is pretty good, right? I mean, everyone's talking about 0 to 100. Well, now you need to get, 0 to 73, right? It's a little bit different. And he's going to have a bunch of stuff unlocked, and now you're going to actually be able to unlock stuff at a much more realistic rate, in my opinion, with this new scale. And that's how it is for pretty much all these existing coaches. I have yet to see one come in without 20. We're going to go to Missouri State here. I haven't actually looked at this one, so hopefully I don't, he's a level 22. There you go. Second year in the FBS, you're starting off 22 levels instead of 1. And all you really lose by doing this is, you can't change your scheme and you can't change your pipeline, but whoop-de freaking do. It doesn't really matter. Run what you want to run. You can change your playbook. Pipeline doesn't really matter that much either, right? We know that with NIL and recruiting, that pipeline means less now than it's ever meant. So let's go ahead and find Delaware here. Delaware Blue Hens, 69 overall. Again, they were brand new last year. He's level 25. So again, you're getting plus 20 on all these coaches. Last one we need to check is Sacramento State. Where are we at here? We'll find it. Sacramento State. Boom, right here. We can go in at level 23. And guys, there are a lot of teams though that start off higher than that. For example, this was a test dynasty I'm doing with Boston College, and he's a level 42. And I believe Cincinnati is a level 47. And so there's guys that are up in the 50s. And so although this isn't ideal because we can't use ourselves, but we can still do rebuilds. We're just taking the existing coach, And I was thinking about it like this. People do rebuilds in NBA 2K all the time, and nobody fires that existing coach. They use the existing coach in their rebuilds. Nobody cares about the coach in NBA 2K. And I'm pretty sure nobody cares about the coach in MLB The Show. I think it's really weird. It's only EA football games where people seem to be obsessed with firing the coach and them being the coach. It's really strange. But either way, I've always created myself as a coach too. But again, with the way things are going with the Coach XP, you can still do a rebuild. Just start off at an advantage. Use the existing coach. You can change your playbook. You're not really losing much. It's going to make the experience better for you. So that's my solution. I don't know if EA is going to change anything moving forward, but I thought this was something that you guys should definitely consider. Alright guys, so that's it for the video. I just wanted to kind of throw my 2 cents out there now that EA kind of, you know, dug in on their stance. That doesn't mean that continued pushback won't eventually change how they view things, but I don't think it's happening anytime soon. I think that they're gonna just focus on fixing the Dynasty recruiting errors and stuff like that. And they know that Madden releases in a couple weeks, and I think they're hoping that this all blows over, unless they snuck something into Madden too. Then who knows what's gonna happen. But either way, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.